Hey, I'm Sam MacPherson, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
Thank you in advance for letting me be here early on in your career, because I feel like this is just the start of something major that's going to be happening with you. So, first of all, I want to congratulate you with the new single, Routine. It's such a, I mean, your voice is so soothing, and at the same time, it's so welcoming. And it just really invites me to just like pause everything that I'm doing and just like focus on your lyrics and focus on your music. So, congratulations with that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And happy to be here.
Let's talk a little bit about the creative process of this song, Routine. This is your first single for 2021. And, what really kickstarted the writing process for this song in particular?
For this song in particular, I feel like when I'm writing, I have a lot of fragments of songs that are floating around in my head, either whether it's like a line or a melodic thing. This song, I feel like, is the coming together of a lot of those fragments over time that I've collected, and whether they're moments or like little musical things. I feel like this song was me sitting down for 20 minutes and all of those things kind of lining up and telling the same story. Um, so in terms of the music, that's kind of how it happened. It was just one of those times where I was just sitting down writing or trying to write, and it kind of all fell out at once. And it wasn't the first time that I thought about any of these lyrics or these moments or anything like that. It was just the first time that all of the puzzle pieces seemed to fit together at the same time.
And what's that vibe like for you? I feel like that, I mean, it must be overwhelming at the same time that it is like it's so comforting knowing that so much is coming out of you. But like, what is that vibe like? I know sometimes there's artists where like they release a really, or they create a really beautiful song, but getting those lyrics out kind of exhausted them like mentally in a sense. Did you feel that happening to you?
Yeah, definitely. I think working in music and writing music is exhausting in and of itself because there's so many. No one ever really gets to exist in the median between the highs and the lows. It's either like high, you're very high on something, or you're kind of just waiting to figure out where the next bottom of the hill is to get there. So yeah, I mean, I'm never as happy as I am after I write a song. So after writing the song and having a song, that's like the most excited I'll ever be. But yeah, it's exhausting. Just whether it's unpacking memories or kind of going back through your own experiences or what you're experiencing now and trying to just wrestle them into the structure of a song. That's mentally tiring. So yeah, definitely, I was definitely kind of spent after writing it.
And as you're unpacking these memories, whether good or bad, like where that level of vulnerability, like what is that like for you? Is that a natural process for you, or is that something that you kind of have to work towards to be able to open up to your audience?
Yeah. For me, I've always appreciated honest songwriting, and whether that's so honest in the actual lyrics and as the story pertains to the person's real life or someone's real life or some real experience. But I feel like the music that I like the most is music that there's just no way, there's no getting around how honest it is. There's not a lot of tricks, there's not a lot of gimmicks, there's not a lot of shiny polish on the finished product. There's just someone telling a story to the best of their ability. So that's probably how I feel about being vulnerable and all that. In terms of my own music, I try to be as vulnerable as possible. I'm probably more vulnerable in the songwriting and in the music than I am in real life. So this is probably as vulnerable as I'll get.
As far as writing everything down, um, where or how do you discover the identity of the song? Does it vary within each song? Like this song, Routine, for example, did you have the identity of the song in mind already, or is that something that you kind of discovered as you were letting these lyrics kind of flow out of you?
Yeah, I think it was happening in real time that I was discovering uh, all of these things. Like I couldn't tell you what I was thinking about as I was writing the song. And that's like for a lot of the songs that I write. It's just like it's like I just blacked out for for however long it took to write it. So I really only remember being so excited that I had a song afterwards. In terms of like, as I was writing it, I can only assume that I was just pulling from all of these like different places, and all of these with all of these different pieces that I've collected of moments and lyrics and melodies and stuff. But yeah.
Now, the fact that your music is very honest, is that why you choose to keep the instrumentation, the sonics limited instead of being overpowering, so that way the view or the listener can actually pay attention to the lyrics and feel that emotion emoting out of your voice? Or is that something that, every producer that you work with kind of brings that on board?
Yeah, it's probably has somewhat to do with a stylistic choice. But my close friend Andy Seltzer, who produced this song, and produced a few of my other songs, and is producing a few more in the future. Me and him have talked about many times that if you write a good song, there's not a lot else that needs to support it if the song can speak for itself. And I know that's like my ultimate goal, and that's what's ultimately most satisfying to me, is when I can play a song with just me and a piano, or just me and a guitar, and get the same message across and make you feel the same things. And also even thinking, I guess, further down the line, when live music comes back, it's really important to me that I'm able to play these songs live and communicate them the same way that, or to some extent, that you hear them on, streaming or wherever.
Right. And at the same time, like, do you have like a preference as far as instrumentation goes, or as far as instruments go? Do you prefer the piano over the guitar? Like, does that even matter for you when you're creating music?
Yeah, I think personally for me, it's hard to write an upbeat song on the piano. Like, I'm never going to be Billy Joel, I don't think. And Billy Joel does that unbelievably well. Elton John does that unbelievably well. I for whatever reason, I tend to gravitate towards the guitar, either acoustic or electric, for more upbeat stuff, and then the piano for more, somber, or however you'd like to describe it, music.
Right. Does when you're choosing these instruments, what kind of impact does it have on the ranges that you hit with your vocals?
In terms of, I definitely sing differently when I'm playing the guitar than I do with piano, and I would probably say that has to do with some type of rhythmic thing. Writing on the guitar is a lot easier for me when I'm writing like rhythmic, a little bit more upbeat songs. But then again, routine is very rhythmic, and it's because I'm trying to fill all of the space in between the chords that are very sparse on the piano. So I guess I have no idea. We're figuring it out in real time, but yeah, I guess it doesn't really. The only thing that differs between the instruments is, I guess, the mood or the tempo of the song. Other than that, they're pretty similar.
And as far as your vocals go, like, I love your range. I love how you could just be singing and then just like nonchalantly hit a little falsetto here and there, and it doesn't seem like it's a struggle for you. It seems like it's just a natural kind of process as you're singing your songs and melodies. So how did you initially discover like your voice, and how did you make it better to the point where like these falsettos just seem to be natural and easy for you?
I'm so happy that it sounds natural. It certainly, for the majority of the time that I have been singing, has not felt natural. I didn't know I could sing, or really even attempt to sing, until I was a freshman in college, which was only 5 or 6 years ago. So it was pretty late in life that I realized I could sing to some extent. And then the years after that were kind of just whittling away at, oh, how do I sound like that? Or how do I get this tone? Or how do I feel like I took a very mechanical approach to learning to sing, whether it was like watching people and trying to imitate them, or, doing exercises in my room. It was just kind of all over the place. But the common denominator for all of the years is that I was just, trying to sing every day. And I was probably doing it in an unhealthy way and ruining my vocal cords for later in life. But yeah, now I feel pretty comfortable in where like my range sits. I still know that there's a bajillion better singers than me, but I feel like for what I'm trying to do in terms of music, I'm pretty happy with like the range that I operate in, or that I can, that's available to me.
As you mentioned, you worked with Andy on this track, and you're working with him on others that are coming soon. Talk to me a little bit about this upcoming debut EP. This is the first single off of the EP. So as you continue to work with Andy within each song, like how does the chemistry between the two of you in the studio change? And how do you feel like he makes you a better artist and a better singer?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, me and Andy are close friends, and I'm close friends with his brother Greg as well. So music aside, they're just people that I would hang out with normally. In terms of the songs, Andy is one of the best, if not the best, producer to go to if you really want to serve the song. And that's like a songwriting cliche. Like, you should always hold the song in the highest regard. And I feel like Andy 100% of the time does. He's not trying to do anything other than do the song justice. And it's weird to put the song in like some type of personified form, but that's like what I think I love most about him, besides being an incredible musician and producer and unimaginably creative guy. He always just makes sure that, I'm not just singing crazy notes just to sing crazy notes or stuff like that. It comes down to just making sure that the song is as good as it can be.
And as you guys are currently working on this upcoming debut EP, like, what is the vision for this EP? Where are you taking us as listeners? Is there like a specific storyline that comes with it, or is there no storyline and you're just giving us these like life experiences that you went through? Like, what can the audience kind of expect on this EP?
So what's exciting about this EP, for me at least, is that it's the first time in my life that I'm writing music for me that's happening in real time. And so I moved to LA in August or September, and I wrote the first song for the EP in September, and I've just, been locked away, literally just, almost narrating my life, falling in love with a person and being in love with a person as it happens. So that's really exciting for me, not only because of falling in love is great, but later in life, I'm going to be able to come back and, have this really important part of my life time-stamped for me, and also for anyone who listens to my music.
That's cool. Do you feel like there's a challenge in the fact that this is, happening as you're writing it?
A challenge only in that it's been really hard for me to operate outside of what's actually happening, which is almost a luxury, because many people write songs every day that they're just like pulling from past experiences. My inspiration for songs and the feelings that I'm pulling from are things that happened last week, things that happened today, things that happened, things that are going to happen tomorrow. So I would almost say it's been like quite the luxury to just not have to do the retrospective like auditing of my entire life. It's, hey, here's what's happening now, tell the story. So yeah, I mean, the challenges are far and few between, but it's definitely like been the most fun I've ever had writing music.
And as you kind of mentioned, like the beauty of being in love, like I always feel, and I've had artists tell me this before, that it's harder to write a happy song as opposed to writing a song that started because of a breakup or a bad situation. So do you find that struggle right now as you're writing, but you're like the happiest you've ever been? Do you find it hard to kind of create these lyrics?
No, not at all. And I probably belong to the camp of it's easier to write sad songs than happy songs. But I'm not sure I could write a sad song at the moment if I tried.
Right.
So, I mean, at least right now in this current, time span of my life, writing happy songs is infinitely easier. And I hope it's this way for as long.
Yeah, keep it that way. Yeah. Now, in the past, you've mentioned that No Bad Memories holds a very special place in your heart. Have you have you found another song that does the same for you that you're currently working on? You don't have to say the name if you're currently working on it, but have you discovered a new song that could take the place of that one?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I think like my relationship to the songs is really that it's just like I said, it's like just time stamping that moment in my life. So naturally, you know, the song that I just wrote yesterday, I'm going to be the most excited about because it's so fresh and whatever. But yeah, that I mean that song I'm really really proud of, and yeah, there's definitely a few, if not just one, that I'm just like, all right, this is like my new favorite thing.
Now, SnaFu is a new signing for you. So how did this kind of happen for you, and what was it about them that made you want to say yes to this? I like to call it collaboration, just because you know
Sure.
it's making your team bigger, and it's helping you create more. So what made you say yes to this collaboration with this label?
The people there really. I knew that I had more than a few songs that I felt like, okay, I'm ready for whatever the next step is. And I feel like I know a good bit about music and songwriting. Obviously, in the grand scheme of things, I know absolutely nothing. But for right now, I feel comfortable with like my musical ability and my songwriting ability. What I don't know as much about is like, you know, music marketing and you know, doing that whole side of the business, which I'm learning it as best as I can. But they've been really great, and they're really great people, and they're smart, and they're technology driven, which is obviously important now more than ever. So it just felt like the right time to kind of take the next step forward and broaden my reach as best as I can. And they were like a really really great way to do that.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations, dude, and definitely looking forward to this upcoming debut EP from you, and definitely looking forward for more music as well.
Thank you so much.